Wenn mein Vater dieses Ding gebaut hat, müssen wir ihn finden.
Alles klar. Wie viele brauchen wir dafür?
Man verlangt nach unserem Codenamen.
Es ist Rogue One.
I think you should say that on camera.
I've said it.
Say it on camera. Say it in front of me, man.
Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars movie of all time.
He said it, and he's got the cool jumper, so
exactly. So this is
makes
the word.
It official.
Listen, Bodhi is a very interesting character, but he seems to be a bit lost. How would you describe him?
He's a bit cantankerous, I would say, and that's because he is in a stressful situation. You know, he's been through a lot, and he's not used to going through a lot. He's not a soldier, he's not a rebel spy, he's not an assassin. He's a long-distance truck driver, basically, who realizes it's the fate of the galaxy is kind of in his hands, and so he realizes he has to step up to the plate and try and make things right.
Now that I've said Rogue One is the best of all Star Wars movies, let's go back in time a little bit, because I heard that Gareth actually asked you to send him a tape, you know, in preparation to what you would be doing, or a casting tape. Is that true?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he asked me to audition for the role, and but he made the mistake of giving me his email address. So I sent him a couple of auditions, and then the next day I didn't see a reply. Instead of thinking, oh yeah, he's really busy, you know, preparing a Star Wars movie, I thought, oh, maybe I should send him a different way of doing it. Maybe he didn't like that. So I sent him a different way of doing it. And then a few hours later I went, oh, I had another idea. I sent him that. And then a few hours later I sent him another one in a different costume and a different accent. And I did this 14 times over 3 days until he finally emailed me back and said, thank you for sending me the auditions. Please stop sending me these auditions. And yeah, I guess I'm lucky that I wasn't toast after that he kind of gave me a shot.
But did you know which character you were going for, or was it just for you to interpret one of the Star Wars characters that you might be playing in Rogue One?
Well, he told me about the character he had in mind, but actually it was a totally different character. The character that I was originally offered no longer exists in this film, but his name was different to Bodhi's. His story was different. His role in the film actually was different completely. So it's kind of interesting to see how that evolved, and you know, I feel really lucky and glad that they kind of wanted to develop the character.
How much influence did you have on the character traits of Bodhi? I mean, with what intention did you go into that?
Well, I always try and find the clues in the writing. I always try and find the clues in the script and let that guide me. But of course, you know, everyone interprets that differently. So for me, I kind of saw someone who had spent their life running away from the big questions, running away from the big problems, not because he's a coward, but because things are hard and people are just trying to survive, you know. Being a long-distance cargo pilot is a good way of just being on the road and being off your home planet when it's occupied and heartbreaking. So someone who's constantly running, someone who's constantly in motion, and I've wanted to bring that kind of nervous energy, that kinetic energy to the forefront of the character after he starts finding himself in completely new and anxiety-inducing situations like war.
And you did a great job.